Hello everybody, Major General Relativity here with the first installment of the Gert tutorial series. This will be a graphical accompaniment to the Gert wiki on GitHub. This video will cover how to set up a Gert network, so the physical setup and installing the very little required software. So first off, you're going to want 3 computers connected by a relay so that they don't share components. This one is going to be client number 2. This one is going to be client number 1. And then this one is the master network controller, or MNC. I'm trying to remember the new terminology, but sometimes I call it the gateway. So if you hear a reference to a gateway, I mean the master network controller. So you're going to want OpenOS installed on your computers. And then the first thing you're going to want to do is set up the master network controller. So I have it in the binary folder. You can see Gert I mnc.lua. That's pretty explanatory. You have the Gert I mnc file here. You can either copy and paste it in, or you can use the paste bin program with GitHub, or this. You can place the file if you have access to physical service. But anyways, you're going to want your Gert I mnc file to look like this. Then when you're done, you just type Gert I mnc from the shell. If you've run the file before, you'll see address file located loading now. I tested it before I started, so that's why it says here. If you're running it for the first time, you will not get this first line. And then you have setup complete, which will print whenever the Gert I mnc is done loading, so that you know you're good to go. Then we'll go over to our first one. With the MNC program, it doesn't matter where you put it in the master network controller, really. But with the Gert I client, you're going to want to put it in the /lib folder so that it can be called as a library. So same with the MNC, you're going to want to get the file in here however you want, but you put the code in. And then later in this video, I'll cover how to make an auto run file. But for right now, we'll go into the shell. And we'll do, so you just require the library. In your program, you can do Gert I equals require Gert I client. You'll want a local in front. But then once it's set up, you should be able to call get address, and you'll get a number that is not nil. In this case, it's 0.1, so that's the first client on the network. Then on this one, I have an identical setup. And you'll see equals e.get address returns 0.2. And then if we do you'll see 2 neighbors. 0 is the master network controller. The ADD field here is the modem field. GADD is the Gert I address. Port is the port it can be reached on. Tier is the tier. 0 for the master network controller. And then 1, 2, and 3 if a computer is 1, 2, and 3 steps away from the master network controller. Then we have the 0.1, which is client number 1. That's why it's called client number 1. And that's tier 1 because it can talk to the master network controller directly, so it is 1 step away. So for an auto run, you go to the root folder. The master network controller will print out the statements, the codes it sees. So if you're connecting devices or whatever, it helps with diagnostics. So if you're trying to add a device to the network and it won't connect, if the master network controller isn't saying register node, then you know that it's not able to talk to the master network controller. So you can do edit auto run.lua. and that will, let's see, so what we'll do is we'll reboot all the computers, and we'll try doing auto runs for them all. So go into the home, then edit autorun.lua, and we're just going to do shell.execute suspend / Gert imnc.lua. All right, I forgot that shell.execute is not a system library. So you want your autorun.lua to say os.execute /bin or where /gert.msc.lua, or where the path name to wherever you have the file located. Then Gert imnc will load on startup. For an auto run for the clients, you can do autorun.lua, something as short as that. So as you can see here, showed up as the new node. And if we go into here, as you notice, there's no pause for the GertI client to get connected, and you have get address returning the correct address. So with that, with just one line per computer, you can have the client and master network controller automatically start up. One last thing is that if the master network controller goes down, you do have to restart the network. So I do recommend some kind of battery backup for the master network controller. But otherwise, the network is pretty resilient, and if you have clients auto-connecting, then you shouldn't have to worry too much. Anyways, that will be the end of this short video, showing you the few easy steps to getting a GertI network set up, and you can expand this with wired and wireless network cards, and you're good to go. See you around. Thank you for watching.